I'm okay.
You're not okay.
It's normal to have diarrhea and stomach pains.
Sometimes, but not as often as you do.
I've got this under control.
No, you don't.
It's time to let that voice inside your head be heard. Urgent diarrhea and chronic stomach pain can be signs of Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation can help you learn more and even find a specialist. Don't keep your symptoms to yourself. Get help at spillyourguts.org.
All right, let's get into this two-parter with Elton John. What a fun day this was. Elton in studio. We had a keyboard there. Ed Roland was hanging out there as well. Let's get into a Best of the Morning X with Elton John.
Tell us about the song that you did with Elton.
Anthony Resta, who's co-producing the record with me, he did Sean Mullins also, which I must say is a great record. I've heard Sean's. And Elton, they did Border Song.
Yeah, I played on Sean's record and sang on it, and they played me some of his album, and it's really fantastic.
Really good.
And then, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Then, I've been dying to play on a Collective Soul record for ages, and so Ed wrote this song called Perfect Day, and I went and played piano. You were there.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. That was
what
so
is your
cool.
favorite Collective Soul song, Elton?
2 takes, done.
There's so many. I like Run.
Run was,
and I love Shine. I love the first video.
Song.
I was giving Ed some hard time today because of his new hairstyle. I said, let's rewind to the Shine video. Can we just a little minute here?
I think Ed is just trying to get one of those. I
just think they're one of the best bands, and not because Ed's sitting here, but I've
He's
been a fan of them ever before.
The boy knows how to ride a hook.
He does.
Yeah.
He's a great songwriter.
Yeah, and they're a cool band, and hopefully, because I'm coming here to record in September, that he'll reciprocate, and some of the guys will come and play on my album, because I want it to be a kind of much racier album.
Ed, you don't have time for that, do you?
I'm circled of life out at the moment.
What an honor that would be. That'd be too cool.
Yeah.
That's cool that you're going to do the record here, though, Elton.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with the band sitting around like we used to, writing the songs, the band playing them, putting them down, and it's going to be a much more earthy record than I've done in the last 10 years.
A bunch of people have been holding on. Let's get
take some
fans.
calls.
Jenny, you're on with Elton John.
Good morning.
Hi, Jenny.
I have a question.
Yep.
In the song Leave On,
Yep.
there's a line about Alvin Tostig has a son today.
Yeah.
Who's Alvin Tostig?
Good question. I have wondered that, too.
Alvin Tostig has a son today. Well, that's obviously, I think, Levon's father. So Levon Tostig or Legon Tostov. I don't know. Alvin Tostig is obviously Jewish, and he had a son today. That's all I can say.
He's not a real person.
Not a real person?
No, not a real person. No.
Call Bernie.
No,
Yeah, you better
call Bernie. Wake him up. He's in California. Wake him up.
Okay.
805.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Elton just Bernie's not gonna like that.
I'm sorry I didn't get the last word.
Don't worry.
Why are these people from Atlanta
Bernie,
calling?
I'm sure Bernie Taupin wouldn't mind. Did you guys, when you guys stopped writing together?
We didn't ever stop writing together. It was just that's not true. We wrote with other people. Bernie wrote an album for Alice Cooper with Alice Cooper. I wrote some stuff with Gary Osborne, and we never ever stopped writing. The secret of our success as far as writing together for so many years is that we had the chance to write with other people without both of us getting really pissed off with each other, because otherwise if you say to someone in a relationship, you can't do this because you're with me, then that's going to lead to the breakup of the relationship, because you can't put constraining orders on people like that. People have to do what they want to do. So I can't say honestly that there weren't feelings of jealousy around when people were writing with other people, but we both had to let that go, and that's the reason our relationship has lasted so long. I mean, I was writing with Gary Osborne, he wrote with Alice Cooper, I wrote some stuff with Tom Robinson and with Tim Rice. Bernie's great, it's cool about that. But my relationship with Bernie has never been stronger, and
it is okay. So there wasn't like a big falling out or anything like that. And was there something where you guys said at one point, okay, let's, we've had a great run, let's now move on?
No, we're like brothers. We couldn't. It's too deep. It's deeper than that.
I can imagine.
We're not just a songwriting team. But Bernie was like the brother I never had. So there's no way that I could never write with Bernie. He's too close to my heart.
Was it tough to, because like in a marriage or any kind of relationship, once you stop being with that person every day, it's almost weird. You have to adjust your whole life. Was it different for you to write songs, or tough for you to write songs after working with him so closely for so long?
It was different, but I think we needed to do that. If you stick and do the same thing all the time, you're going to get in a rut. And I think we just needed that kind of privilege to work with other people. So,
Kathleen, you're on with Elton John.
Good morning.
Hi, Kathleen.
How are you?
I'm really well, thanks.
Good. I was just curious, with all the music that you've put out over the years, everyone probably has a favorite song or a favorite time period. They like your older stuff or your new stuff. I was wondering if you have a favorite or a time where you felt you were doing your best stuff or things, a song that really stands out.
Some of my best stuff necessarily wasn't, the most commercial stuff, and every artist will tell you that. The albums that I really liked have been Blue Moves, Captain Fantastic, because they're less commercial than the other albums, and they would be the ones that if I ever revisited my stuff and play, which I don't, I would go back and listen to them. So I don't know. I mean, when you write a song, you tend to think that's your favorite at the moment. When you're most enthusiastic about that, and then after 3 or 4 years, they all fit into a historical place. And sometimes you're really off base about what you liked and what you didn't like. So I remember I didn't like Benny and the Jets for years, and I stopped it. I wanted to stop it coming out as a single, and it went #1 black record in Detroit. And I said, "Okay, release it." And
was that ever released as a studio version, or was that only released live?
That's the studio. No, that is the studio version.
With the applause?
Yeah, that's a studio record. We just got a lot of applause from one of my concerts.
You mean that was all doctored up? That was a studio? I know.
Smoke and mirrors, Jimmy.
I like.
I didn't know that.
Jimmy,
how do you even make a set list with all those songs? Yeah. Is it going by your mood?
That's a good question.
That night, do you go?
It depends whether you're doing the solo show or the show with my band, or the show if you're going on tour with someone like Billy Joel. There are 3 kind of formats. The solo show enables me to do more obscure stuff. I can sneak some obscure stuff in amongst the hits, and it means you can drop stuff you're getting tired of and drop it for 3 or 4 years. Like Someone Saved My Life Tonight, I dropped for 3 or 4 years, and I still don't do it. And that means I can bring it back and it'll be fresh again. So Ed wants to say something.
No, I like how you refer to as Captain Fantastic as not being commercially successful, and it was the first album ever to debut at #1 in the album charts.
But I mean, there was 1 single from it. That's what I mean.
You just going,
yeah. And people wouldn't say that was my most memorable album, but for me it was.
In watching Behind the Music, when you came here and did that show at the Troubadour at the time, did you realize that would be the show that would kind of catapult everything? And just the people that were at that particular show.
I was blown. I mean, Neil Diamond introduced me on stage, which was fantastic.
He broke at the Troubadour too, I think.
Yeah, and then
who else was there?
Well, I mean, we were playing top of the bill over David Ackles, who was one of my big influences at that time. He was a great songwriter. He died last year or 2 years ago, and we couldn't believe that we were playing over him on the bill. I remember Leon Russell was there the second night, and I was petrified. I suddenly spotted him during the middle of Burn Down the Mission, and he had this big mane of white hair. Kind of froze when I saw him. No, I had no idea. We just came out, and luckily enough, we've been playing lots of shows in England, so we were pretty polished. We had our act down, and we were a 3-piece. There are so many 3-pieces, just a great lineup. Think of all the great 3-piece bands there have been: Nirvana, The Who, Cream,
Rush.
The Who, really. I mean, it's Roger with 3-piece band, 3 musicians, and it just seemed to work.
It's so hard for musicians now that live over there to come over here and break, because they want to do like a few shows and really not make the commitment to come over here and play.
You mean British bands? Yeah.
British bands, yes.
Well, that's why Oasis never made it really big here when they had the chance. Instead of coming over here and working their butts off,
exactly.
They argued between them. They let themselves down, and then they spent 2 years just posing around in England. To come over here, all the big bands that are broken, i.e. the Police, U2, myself, whatever, they all did tours with other people. Second on the bill, I toured with Derek and the Dominoes, I toured with Leon Russell, I toured with people like that, and I learned my craft.
Do you like Robbie Williams?
I love Robbie. He's a good boy, and he's got his act together. He has a chance. If you come over here, you have to play, and nothing's greater than going out and playing to an audience, right, Ed?
Great, yes.
Transitioning out of the military, it's difficult. Just about everything around you changes. I would get phone calls that brothers were dying, some of them to suicide. And I'd found myself in another cold cemetery, and I started to wonder if I was next. It's a struggle to know that you're facing challenges, but not be ready to face them. Sleep doesn't come easy, and when it comes, it doesn't last long. You're tired all the time. I didn't reach out for that help, but thank God my wife did. She got me registered for Wounded Warrior Project. Talking to somebody that would listen to me and understood my story helped me realize that it was time to change. There's a new fight. There's a new mission, and that's something I am eternally grateful for.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.